My name is Ruben. I'm from Portugal. I'm 26 and I'm at the Newcastle University studying neuroscience PhD. Well, my PhD is going great. Something that I really like about it is the international component, because we belong to an international group and I get to do research with some labs abroad, and I get to collaborate with other students from different nationalities. It was more of a shock than I thought it would be, because I had I had some international experience with conferences and things like that, and I created this idea of how the British culture works, and it was different than what I expected. At the beginning, I felt like the Portuguese were more warmth, so that Latin warmth, but then you need some time to really connect with people, and after you do that, you see they're amazing people. The population is very international also, so you get a lot of dynamic in that aspect. All the work is group work, basically. You belong to a lab, you are assigned to a lab, and you have a PhD project that will eventually turn into a thesis. And most of the studies you do for your thesis, it can be a collaboration with the people in the lab. So most of the times it is, so it becomes like a group work. Now we've been focusing more on dynamic lights. So the basic premise is that everything you see, all this color, it's made up by your brain. It's an interpretation of your brain that your brain makes of the lights that are being reflected by the different objects. So we tend to think that the color of an object belongs to that object, is determined by the object. But not only, it depends on the illumination. So if we change the illumination, it will change the way you see that object. And you can develop all sorts of specialized illumination to change the colors of the object. For example, next month we are going to do a collaboration with the National Gallery in London with paintings, and we'll be changing the lights of those paintings. And we can, for example, allow to the viewer to see the painting with the colors that the painter intended. Because when he painted that artwork, he was using a different type of light. So we need to change the lamps to the same light the painter was using for us to see the same colors he was seeing. And we can make them dynamic. You can change the lights gradually to simulate daylight, from dusk to dawn. Something that is very interesting is that if you are in a very international group, because they learn at different places, at different universities, they will have different ways of doing things. And that it improves the work. It improves the procedures you implement. I did things only like Portuguese do things. It will be slightly weaker work than if we implement a mixture of all the advantages of the different techniques that people use throughout the world. I learned that I need to force myself to find the time to go on societies. That's a big problem in PhD students. The percentage of PhD students with depression is very high. It's very demanding. And if you are working on a group like that, and you feel like everybody's depressed, that will depress you also. So for me, the societies, they became very valuable in that aspect. I always wanted the experience of going abroad, and I thought it would be easier than I thought. So if you are thinking of coming, prepare yourself. You might have at least a small shock when you arrive, and that means you need to value your personal life, and you need to value friendship. You need to build your personal life here, not just because you have your personal life back at home, but you'll need some of that here, and because that will be healthier for you. Even if you think that, oh no, I'll just go and study and work and I can handle it, because I have been handling it here and back in my country, you need to cope with that.